Today's lesson is called Journeying Back in Time in Rotenburg ob der Tauber. Hello everyone, my name is Jeff.
I am Roger, and today we kick off the month of October with a travel unit here. And, if you got the time, maybe you ought to consider going to Germany. The hot summer there is over. Things are a bit cooler there. So, indeed, you should consider journeying back in time in Rotenburg ob der Tauber. This is a place in Germany, right?
Rotenburg ob der Tauber. And yes, if you do go to Germany, you'll find some of the most modern cities on the face of the earth. Berlin is just one of them. Now, Rotenburg ob der Tauber, though, isn't like that at all. I'm not saying it's not great, but you can't really call it Rotenburg ob der Tauber a modern city. Yes, it's a very ancient city. German life from a long, long time ago has been preserved there, so hey, if you do like German culture and you want to journey back in time, Rotenburg ob der Tauber might be the place for you. All right, everyone, with that, it's time for us to take a short break. But when we come back, we'll start reading from the first portion of our lesson on Rotenburg ob der Tauber.
Journeying back in time in Rotenburg ob der Tauber. A visit to Rotenburg ob der Tauber in Germany is like taking a trip back in time. This ancient town reached its height during the Middle Ages, but stopped prospering following the 30 Years' War. As a result, much of the city has remained unchanged.
大家好，第一部分我们看到单字 prosper， 这个字是动词，指繁荣、兴盛。例如，The coastal town started to prosper after the council cleaned up the beach to attract more tourists. 那座海岸小镇因市府净滩后吸引更多观光客而繁荣起来。另外，这个字尾加上 ous 可以成为它的形容词 prosperous， 指繁荣的、富有的。我们可以说，Sean hoped that he could someday get a good job and lead a prosperous life. Sean 希望有朝一日可以找到好工作，过着富足的日子。再来，我们看到一个动词 remain， 有维持、保持的意思，像是 It started to rain, but we remained dry by staying indoors. 开始下雨了，但我们借着待在室内保持干爽。另外，这个字除了上面的意思，还可以指剩下、余留。我们可以说 Two pieces of pie remain in the refrigerator. 冰箱里还剩下2块派。
All right, we're going to Germany in today's program, so let's do it. When people travel to foreign countries, they often try to go to the towns that are the oldest as a way to step back in time and get a feeling for what life was like centuries ago, and this sounds like the place to go to in Germany. Rotenburg ob der Tauber. I hope I said that right. And we are journeying back in time to this city in Germany. So notice in the title here we've got the word journey, journeying. As a verb, it's most often used as a noun. I'm going to go on a journey across the Pacific Ocean, for example. But in this particular case, the word journey is being used as a verb, to take a trip like that.
There you go. Now, I never thought about that. Yeah, you can go on a journey or you can journey, but you can't trip. Okay, you can't trip and fall, but if you go on a trip or go on an adventure, you wouldn't say, yeah, I'm going tripping. Okay, you can't really do that. So this is an interesting word, and this is also an interesting concept because we are going to be journeying to Germany, taking a long trip or adventure to Germany over the course of our article. But here, not only are we going to Germany, it says here that we are journeying back in time. So when we go to this place, not only will we be journeying over the face of planet Earth from one place to another, going a very far distance away from here in Taiwan. No, we're also in Rothenburg ob der Tauber. We're also going to be going back in time. That's why we're saying that we are journeying back in time here. And no, we're not jumping into a time machine. We're just going to a place where time has stood still. Yes, if you go to Rothenburg ob der Tauber, you'll see that the place is not modern at all. Well, there might be some modern things here or there, some modern conveniences, but it's not a modern city in the way that Berlin is or Tokyo is, so on and so forth. It's a small, cozy place that looks like it did look hundreds of years ago. It has been preserved in that sense. It's like a living time capsule. So if you do visit there, you can be said to be journeying back in time. Yes, a visit to Rothenburg ob der Tauber in Germany is like taking a trip back in time.
It is as if you are a time traveler, and this ancient town reached its height during the Middle Ages, but stopped prospering following the 30 Years' War. So it reached its height. In other words, it was very important at that time, but it's not so important anymore. I guess you could say that about Tainan. Tainan reached its height about 100 years ago, and now Taipei is the city that everybody pays attention to. But in this particular case, though, this city was quite important in the Middle Ages, and then there was this war called the 30 Years' War. I think that was between the Catholic Church and the Protestants or something like that during the 1600s. And guess what? It lasted for 30 years. So, of course...
Whoa, you're saying that the 30 Years' War lasted for 30 years.
Yep. And
are you totally sure about that?
Yeah, I did the calculations there. It's probably 30 years, give or take a couple of weeks. But I don't think they called it that during the war. You know?
I get it, though. They call it the 30 Years' War because it lasted for 30 years.
That's the reason.
That's amazing. Gosh.
Yeah, but I don't think they had any way of knowing how long the war was going to last at the time, so it was called this in hindsight.
There you go. By the way, there are a lot of wars that have been named in this way based on how long these wars have lasted. So all jokes aside, there were some famous conflicts. There was the 30 Years' War, there was also the 7 Years' War, and I believe there was also a 100 Years' War there in Europe as well. Anyways, it's kind of boring to name wars in that way, but hey, even in the 20th century, we had a boring convention for naming big conflicts, like there was World War I and then World War II. How boring can you get? But yes, let's not joke. These were definitely not boring conflicts. They were very bad. And yes, the 30 Years' War at its time was a terrible, terrible war. And apparently it was bad enough that it kind of tanked Rothenburg ob der Tauber, or at least it sapped Rothenburg ob der Tauber of all of its energy, because after the 30 Years' War, this town, this place stopped prospering. And yes, here we have the verb prosper to talk about. If you prosper, you do well. You're successful. You flourish. For example, my brother didn't do well in college, but since going to law school, he has prospered a great deal.
This can happen, especially if you work hard and save your money. So yes, it stopped prospering. It was a less successful city after that nasty war. So as a result, much of the city has remained unchanged. So that's good. It did not prosper, so all the old buildings and the cobblestone streets are still there. They had no reason to tear them all down and build luxury apartments and skyscrapers and stuff like that. So here we've got the verb to remain. That just means to stay the same. For example, I could say, despite all the problems with their marriage, Roger and Jamie have remained married for 30 years. That's a different Roger. It's not me. But in any case, it is possible to continue to be married even though you've got lots of problems. You can remain married. And again, the city has remained unchanged. It has remained the same. So, hey, go check it out. Lots of old buildings are still standing. Okay, let's move on now to the next part of our lesson. We'll listen to it first.
The first thing that many visitors do is take a walk on the wall that surrounds Rothenburg's historical center. The towers along the wall used to serve as lookout points for protecting the town from attackers. Climb to the top of Röder Tower for an excellent view of Rothenburg's half-timber buildings. From Kobelzell Gate, you can see the green Tauber Valley stretching into the distance. Kobelzell Gate is also just a few steps away from Plönlein, a small triangle-shaped square with a half-timber house that's probably Rothenburg's most photographed spot.
第二部分我们看到单字 surround， 这个字是动词，指围绕、包围。举例来说 Jeff's happy dog surrounded him when he came home from work. Jeff 的开心狗狗们在他下班回到家时围绕他。另外补充一个相关片语，可以用 be surrounded by 来指被点点点包围。我们可以说 My apartment building is surrounded by restaurants and coffee shops. 我的公寓大楼被餐厅和咖啡店包围。再来，我们看到一个名词 lookout， 指瞭望台。例如 The best place for enjoying the view is the lookout. 欣赏美景的最佳地点是瞭望台。另外补充一个相关片语 on the lookout for， 指密切留意点点点，寻找点点点。我们可以说Peter is on the lookout for the woman he saw at the bus stop yesterday because she lost her wallet. Peter 在寻找他昨天在公车站看到的女子，因为她掉了皮夹。
All right, folks, let's go ahead and move on to the second part of today's lesson. The first thing that many visitors do is take a walk on the wall that surrounds Rothenburg's historical center. So this city here, Rothenburg, it's got a wall that surrounds the historical center, and apparently you can walk on this wall. How interesting. By the way, if something surrounds something else, that thing is on all sides of that thing.
Right. The first thing that you might do if you go there is check out that wall. The first thing that you do here in Taiwan, of course, is maybe go to the Palace Museum or go to Taroko Gorge if you are a visitor. So again, this wall surrounds the historical center. I guess that's a good way to kind of get a feel for the place and look around. The towers along the wall used to serve as lookout points for protecting the town from attackers. So that's what the towers used to be, kind of lookout towers. They would have guards on those towers looking out for the enemy.
Yeah, a lookout point. It's usually a place from which you can watch your surroundings, take a look at your surroundings, so on and so forth. Now, the next sentence of our article says, climb to the top of Röder Tower for an excellent view of Rothenburg's half-timber buildings. So there you go. We've got these towers, and you can climb to the top of one of these, Röder Tower, and get an excellent view. Now, you don't need to be on the lookout for any attackers. Nobody does any attacking in Germany anymore.
Timber means wood, and I think half-timber in Chinese is 木骨架的建筑, just in case you wanted to know. Now, from Kobelzell Gate, you can see the green Tauber Valley stretching into the distance. So if you're at that gate, you can see some scenery in the distance. It's a valley and a screen with lots of trees. Kobelzell Gate is also just a few steps away from Plönlein, a small triangle-shaped square with a half-timber house that's probably Rothenburg's most photographed spot. So that's another tourist spot in this place that you can go to. Kind of weird there. Triangle-shaped square. How can you do that? It's either a triangle or a square. I don't get it.
Yeah, usually squares, town squares, are kind of square in shape, but in this particular situation, the square here is shaped in a triangular way. It's a triangular square, I should say. That is a bit strange. All right, folks, with that, it's time for us to take a break, but don't go away. We'll be back with the end of day one of our article on Rothenburg right after this.
Less than a 10-minute walk from Plönlein is St. James's Church, which is famous for its 700-year-old stained glass windows and carved wooden altars showing the Last Supper and the 12 Apostles. Besides beautiful buildings, Rothenburg also has lovely parks, such as the Castle Garden, which features geometric flower beds and statues representing the 4 seasons and the 4 elements.
第三部分，我们看到一个单字 altar， 这个字是名词，指教堂内的圣坛、祭坛。举例来说 ，To complete the ritual, place the candle on the altar。为了完成那个仪式，把蜡烛放到圣坛上。接下来我们看到形容词 geometric， 用来指几何图形的、几何学的，像是 You can see that the decor features geometric patterns。你可以看得出来，那装潢结合了几何图案。最后我们看到一个单字 represent， 这个字是动词，有象征、代表的意思。例如The stars on the U.S. flag represent the 50 states of the United States. 美国国旗上的星星代表美国的50个州。另外，这个字尾加上 ative 可以成为它的形容词 representative， 用来指代表性的、典型的。我们可以说 The successful businessman is representative of what hard work can accomplish.那名成功的商人是典型的反映，只要努力就可以达成成就。
Okay, let's continue with our walking tour of Rothenburg ob der Tauber. We're just calling it Rothenburg for short here. And yes, indeed, we're walking around that wall in the historical center there with lots of stuff to check out.And lots of things to take pictures of. And less than a 10-minute walk from Plunlein is St. James's Church, which is famous for its 700-year-old stained glass windows and carved wooden altars showing the Last Supper and the 12 Apostles. So it's not too far. We measure distances sometimes by saying it's a 10-minute walk or it's a 2-mile drive or something. Be careful not to add an S there because it's serving as an adjective. A 10-minute walk. Kaohsiung is a 5-hour drive from Taipei, etc.
Yeah, the walk takes 10 minutes, but you would say it's a 10-minute walk. And this gives you a good idea of how far this is away. If we said, oh, it's 0.6 kilometers away, you really wouldn't have a good idea of how far that was. It would be very vague in your mind as to how far that was. But a 10-minute walk, most everyone can tell time pretty well. Yet 10 minutes, that is a short walk. You have a really good idea of how long you'll be on your feet and how far this is away for you. Anyways, this place is amazing. This church has 700-year-old stained glass windows and also beautifully carved wooden altars. And if you go to a church, there's usually a big table, okay, usually in the front of the church there, where the priest or the preacher kind of does his thing. And very often the priest or the preacher will say mass from the altar or near the altar there. And if there are any important rituals for that religious service, those rituals are probably carried out by the priest or the preacher at the altar. Anyways, moving on, besides beautiful buildings, Rothenburg also has lovely parks, such as the Castle Garden, which features geometric flower beds and statues representing the 4 seasons and the 4 elements. How about that? Now, here we have the word statue to talk about. A statue is a 3-dimensional work of art. It's a sculpture, or a piece of sculpture, I should say, that usually looks like a person or a thing. Yeah, sometimes sculptures can be abstract and they don't have to look like anything at all, whereas statues, yeah, they are sculptures, but statues often look like a person or maybe an animal or something like that.
And they represent, in this particular case, the statues, represent the 4 seasons and the 4 elements. So to represent just means to stand for something. For example, I could say, this sapphire ring represents my love for you. And, of course, here the statues represent 4 seasons, winter, spring, summer, or fall. And also the 4 elements, which I believe are earth, water, air, and fire. The 4 elements that people used to believe in. I guess people still believe in that stuff, even though now we know the table of elements pretty much explains all of chemistry.
Yeah, there are more than 4 elements in nature, that's for sure. But yes, these statues, they do represent something. Okay, when you look at them, you should be able to identify what you're looking at here. We've got representations of the 4 seasons and also the 4 elements How cool. All right, folks, with that, it is time for us to say goodbye for now. But don't worry, the Chinese teacher is on the way.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文第二部分一开始他说，许多游客做的第一件事就是到围绕罗腾堡历史中心的城墙来散步。好，那他说 The first thing that many visitors do is take a walk 怎么样怎么样。这边他用到的句型是 The first thing that 主词 do is 加上原形动词，表示说某人做的第一件事就是什么什么。好，那为什么会在 be 动词 is 后面接原形动词呢？我们来拆解它的句型结构会比较好了解。首先 the first thing 是主词，它后面接了关系子句 that 主词 do， 那这部分是用来修饰主词 the first thing。 The first thing that 主词 do 就是某人做的第一件事，然后它再接 is 来当动词，最后再用不定词 to be 来当主词补语。那要特别注意的是 that 关系子句当中如果有 do 的话呢，我们通常句尾的不定词就会省略 to。 像课文句子原本会是 The first thing that many visitors do is to take a walk。好，那它的关系子句 that many visitors do 当中我们看到 do， 所以它就把不定词 to 省略了，所以才会看到 is 后面直接是接 take a walk。 好，那如果 that 子句当中没有 do 的话，be 动词后面就会接不定词 to 加原形动词，或是直接接名词。举例来说 The first thing that he wants to try is stinky tofu。 他第一个想尝试的就是臭豆腐啦。好，这边顺便补充其他有相同用法的常见句型哦。像你可以说 All that somebody do is 加上不定词，就是某人唯一做的事是什么。All that somebody can do is 加上不定词，就是某人唯一能做的事是什么。或是你也可以用All that somebody have to do is 加上不定词来表达某人只需要做的事是什么什么。好，那这些句型里面的 that 子句都有看到 do， 所以句尾的不定词它的 to 都可以省略掉。像你可以说 All you have to do is press the button， 你只需要按这个按钮就可以了。好，再造一个例句 All we can do is wait， 我们唯一能做的事就是等待。好，那同样的，如果在 that 子句里面是没有 do 的话，那么 be 动词后面你就可以接不定词或是接名词。像玛丽亚·凯莉有一首歌就是 All I want for Christmas is you， 就是说我唯一想要的圣诞节礼物就是你啦。还有披头士的歌 All you need is love， 就是你只需要的是爱。好，我们看到他们后面 is 后面都是接名词。那么以上是今天的重点整理，我们来回顾今天的单字吧。
Journey. Roald Amundsen was an explorer from Norway who journeyed to both the North and South Poles. Prosper. The city prospered for many years as an important trading port. Remain. I asked her a question, but she remained silent. Surround. Fences surround all of the farm's fields, and signs warn people to stay off the private property. Statue. The university has a statue of the school's founder in front of the main library. Represent. The color red often represents good luck, especially in Asian cultures.
Okay, everyone. With that, today's article is now complete. But, as always, we sure hope that you guys have enjoyed reading along with us. Anyways, I'm Jeff.
I am Roger.
See you next time.